Blog Talk Radio.
This is Heart to Heart Talk Radio, part of the Enlightenment Evolution Network. I am your host, Daniel Scranton. For the next hour or so, please listen with your heart. Hi everyone, this is Daniel, and this is Heart to Heart Talk Radio, part of the Enlightenment Evolution Network. And as part of the network, I would like to announce that my views, the views of my guests, even the views of my callers, do not reflect or do not... I really have to get this disclaimer down because I just stumble over it every time, not really sure exactly how to legally word something that makes it so that the Enlightenment Evolution Network is not responsible for any of the stuff that goes on my show legally. So that's what I'm trying to say. We're unattached. You can't sue them if you want to sue someone. Oh, God. Today is Monday, December 15th, 2014. And as I said, my name is Daniel. My guest's name is Ruth Elan. And Ruth is a channeler who I've just recently become familiar with through Facebook, and we sort of hang out in the same spiritual groups on Facebook, and that's how Ruth and I began to know each other. But what's really exciting for me about a show like tonight is that I get to know Ruth through my show, so all of this is very real. I know very little about her, and I get to ask questions, and you guys get to listen in and hear all the exciting stuff about Ruth and her journey and her work just at the same time that I do. So I'm going to take Ruth and put her on the air right now and introduce her. Mm-hmm. This is Ruth. There she is. Hi,
yes,
Ruth.
Right here.
Here you are.
Yes, I'm right here.
We were just talking before we came on the air with all of you about where Ruth is from, because just looking at your picture, I just thought, she looks like she's from Europe somewhere. Like she came over here at some point, but no, you were born in Los Angeles. What part of Los Angeles were you born in?
Oh, okay. I was born, that's funny, European. I was born in the Valley, San Fernando Valley.
Uh-huh.
So I grew up there, and I lived the first 43 years of my life in Southern California.
Wow. And I just moved from Southern California. And the 1 year that I spent, since 1997, the 1 year that I spent where I wasn't in Southern California, I was right down the street from where you are now in Oregon. Yep. So that's kind of funny. So we have some geographical locations in common here.
Yeah, that's
all right,
synchronicities.
So, yeah, I like it. So I've noticed, I don't want to get ahead of myself too much here because I like to start at the beginning. So for me, the beginning is, tell me about growing up in Southern California. What was your upbringing like? What was the talk around your house about spirituality or religion or atheism, or what was going on with you and and how was your reaction to all of whatever was going on in your house?
Okay. Okay. Most people that I know on Facebook already know this, but I'll go over it for all the new people. That I grew up in a violent household. It was abusive. Oh. Yes, and I suffered from sexual abuse many times and other violent abuse, and I grew up under a guise of shame, and I was raised Baptist Baptist and or Foursquare, which is another way of saying Baptist, anyway, Southern Baptist.
Oh.
And
okay.
Yeah, and I spent my whole life trying to get out of the reality I was in. So what I did was I started, because of religion and everything, I was denying all of my, let's say, spiritualness, all my psychic abilities. So
yep.
I disassociated myself psychically many, many times during childhood. And I have had those experiences and remembered them throughout my life. So it's not like I didn't remember my psychic experiences. It's just that I denied that they were part of me. I thought they were part of the devil and all this sort of thing. And anyway, so I, yeah, at 16, at 16, because I was trying to run away from reality, run away from my life, get away from all those people and all that kind of stuff, I turned my back on religion and my family, pretty much. So I decided to go my own way. And now I know I was supposed to do that. That all that stuff that happened to me in my childhood, it was all like the motivating factor for me to get to this psychic part of myself. And I didn't have the ability to acknowledge all of the psychic abilities that I had back then. So it was just, today I understand it's just the path I took. I understand when people tell me they live in, violent situations or relationships or something like that. I have a lot of empathy for that because I've been there. I totally get it. So when I write about that stuff, I really know what I'm talking about. Anyways, so I hit adulthood, and I have tried just about every single religion. I tried to be a witch. I tried to be Buddhist, an atheist. I tried to be Jewish. I tried to be everything. And I even tried to be, I went back to school, so in university I was trying to be an intellectual and still running away from my ability. And and then everything just sort of fell apart at about, let's say 40. It just sort of fell apart. And then I went through like a depressive sort of period, and then circumstances just had it that we came up to Portland, and we moved up here, and we were homeless up here, and anyways, all those situations just sort of played out, and I was searching and searching. I've been searching my whole adulthood to try and figure out, like, what's wrong with me. How do I fix myself so that I can live in this world comfortably and all that kind of stuff? And through that search, I found many authors like Dyer and all the rest of them. But I also found The Secret, and then I found Abraham Hicks, and then through them I found Seth, and then Seth introduced me to my psychic self, pretty much. So. Wow.
Reintroduced you, right? or allowed that part of you to come out and play.
Yes, I was auto writing all my life, but I didn't know what it was. So I was writing and everything, and then auto writing is like you're writing, and sometimes I have like 2 words in my head, and I write them down, and then maybe 2 more or 3 more words, write them down. And then when you get done with all the writing, all you know is the last 3 words that you put down on the page. And that's what I was doing. I've been doing that for my whole life, just writing what comes to me. And then I would read it back, and it didn't look like I was writing. It didn't look like my words. It didn't look like I was doing it at all. So I was just using that like it was mine, and that I didn't really know myself, or it was another creative thing or whatever. And I figured out with Seth that that was auto writing. And then when I went on Facebook, Well, okay.
Yeah.
I found Seth in 2009, and then I was on Facebook by 2010, and then I found groups and stuff, and I was figuring out what channeling was because I never knew what it was. And so before Jane, I really didn't know what channeling was or who was doing it, and so I found that out. And then I thought, well, the auto writing then is channeling, and then, I mean, there was more to all that. I was, let's see, I was trying to make myself like good or not evil or something like that, and I found that that was just my belief, so I let it go. It took like maybe 3 years to let that go, but I let it go finally, and then I accept my spontaneous life, and that is what I've been doing for about a year maybe, or 2 years, something like that. And that's really harder. That's really harder than you think, because it's not like, it's not just like flowing into your life and accepting things that are happy and, you know, like just skipping through your life and everything. That's not what spontaneous life is. It's accepting everything that comes to you, even the bad stuff. And even when my internet was shut off because we didn't have money to pay the bill, you don't want to accept that, so you fight that and you want to change it and you want to fix it and fix it and fix it. But I had to just accept that that's what's going on. And
right.
that kind of stuff.
I had an incident about a week ago where I was sitting in a tide pool here, and I had put my phone way back, like, 20, 30 feet back from where I was in my shoe on top of a rock. And, this huge couple of waves come in, and I'm looking back, and I'm like, uh-oh. And before you know it, the shoe is floating. And so I lost my phone for a few days, and now I'm using Lana's phone. She kind of gifted me her cell phone, and she's going to get one at some point to replace it.
Right.
But the cool part about that was I was noticing before this happened the dependency that I had. I don't know if it was a dependency or just like this tendency to keep looking at my phone, like constantly be on Facebook and taking pictures and that, and all that stuff, so that I wasn't, I'd be walking my dog at night and just be like looking at my phone the whole time. And, having a few days without a phone is kind of great, because it really helped me realize, like, oh, I can live without this phone. Like, it wasn't so bad, like, that I couldn't stand not having it. And but it really helps you, I think, to put your focus on other things when those things, like internet, get removed from your experience, however they get removed, So
yes, exactly.
It all serves us in some way.
Yes, everyone is going to get a different meaning from, like, losing a phone. So each person searches on books and online and on TV and everything, so they can find the meaning of something that is the same of another person, because they don't accept their individuality. They don't accept their, they're who you are. They don't accept that. And that's what Jen is trying to do, is help others, help beings that are here in the human experience accept who they really are. And that will, it doesn't bring happiness to your life as you think it might, because we're not, when you are when you have an enlightenment, you don't search for happiness in every single thing. Happiness is just one moment, and then you will have more moments, and you just accept everything, because everything has a meaning, you would not get the same meaning from happiness that you would get from anger or another really bad experience. You would never get that meaning from happiness or joy, and you will never get the same meaning from other experience that another person gets. So when I lost my internet, I had to go out and find Wi-Fi. I had to go out into the world and get out of my house. I had to get it out of my isolation in order to get with other people. And that's a really hard thing for me to do.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have done that if I didn't lose my internet.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because they've been, when you have, but they're not exactly voices, okay, but when you have people talking to you and your beings talking to you in your head, and you get intuitions and everything, and then, to go outside, to get into the sun, to get around other people, to do stuff. I just fight that all the time. I've been fighting it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Believe me.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel a lot of times like between my, the beings that I have available to me and my wife and 3 cats and dog, it's like, do we really ever need to socialize, to like get out there in the world and mix it up with other people? I mean, sometimes I feel like I don't really have any friends. Like like I have friends, but I don't know people that I go. Especially if we just moved here too.
Yes.
So that kind of compounds it, But we are attempting to make plans with people that we know are, we feel good around. But there is that thing where it's like when you get your peeps with you, your non-physical peeps, it's kind of like you never feel alone, you never feel lonely, and it's like you couple that with the contact you can have through Facebook with other people, and it's like it does kind of eliminate that need to be in face-to-face contact with people in your immediate community, I think.
Yes.
So
yes,
yeah.
It does. But that contact is probably sometimes the first contact with other people, and then people get stuck in that because when you take one step into your life and you think that you're living your life, but you've only taken one step into it, you're not actually living spontaneously. You're living at that one step. At that, you have one foot into a life with other people and your experience, and then the other part of your life, you're trying to save yourself from bad experience. You're trying to save yourself from the experience that might be bad, so you save yourself from that instead of trying to live all of your emotions and live all of your life and accept all of your experience. And flow is more than just walking a path. Flow is letting your emotions flow, letting your energy flow to other people, and not being scared that energy that's coming back to you is going to hurt you, because it can't. You only believe that it can, and that's why it hurts. But sometimes it hurts so that you can see that's your experience, that you have to find meaning for it. I can't tell you what your meaning is if that experience coming back at you hurts. I can't tell you what that meaning is. And even Jen isn't going to tell you what the meaning is in your experience. They pretty much tell you that this is where you find it, these are your beliefs that are attached to it, and this is the direction you follow in order to find it. But they can't even tell you what the meaning is, because it changes every second, because it's not the same as it was yesterday, because it's not the same as everyone else. So.
Right. So if you're listening to us online right now, we're going to Ruth's going to take calls, and she's going to channel GEN or Emmanuel or one of her other guides there if you have questions for them. So we're going to get to that portion of the program soon enough, but I just wanted to put it out there for anyone who's listening online. If you want to call in, it's 347-308-8788. And if you're on hold right now listening on your phone, you can always hit the number 1 on your keypad, and then I'll see a little question mark come up. And then I'll know that you want to ask a question. Have you done a radio program before? Have you been on Philip's show?
No, not before Philip's show. Philip's show.
Oh, you have
been
on Philip's show then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'll tell everybody else that I started verbally channeling as opposed to hand channeling or writing or any of that. I started verbally channeling November of 2013. And so I've been doing it since then, and it's changed over time. So in the beginning, when you start channeling, it's like running a Mack truck into a wall. Yeah, you're just going as fast as you can. You're doing it every second of the day. You just keep going and going, and eventually you hit that wall that says slow down. This isn't. You don't have to get it all out. It's not like there's not a well that you're going to want dry or anything like that. It's continuous, but it doesn't have to be constant, and it doesn't have to be every day, and people channel differently. So
for sure.
I go through, yes, for sure. I go through an ebb and flow of like times where I'm channeling all the time, and really that has to do with my state of mind. It has to do with, I'm always open, but they respond sometimes to questions in my environment, or sometimes they respond to a TV show or cable show. Sometimes it's Facebook. Sometimes it's in a book. Sometimes it's in the mail. Sometimes it's an interaction with another person, and they respond to that, and I just turn on my tape recorder and go. And but people channel differently, and in the last, say, couple months or something, they've slowed down quite a bit on the information that comes through me. And really what's coming through me now is the books that I'm writing, response to people in their the renderings and the sessions that they give, and there's not a lot that they think that we have to know. In fact, I don't think that they really respond. I don't know, like they're not trying to tell us what to do. They're responding to our own questions. Yeah.
Right. So are you self-publishing your books? Well,
yes, I'm writing them, and they told me to be open about publishing them, and I don't know how to self-publish, but they told me that will open when the time is, and I, have to trust that, and that's one of the hardest things to do because I want to know everything having to do with it. Like, if I'm going to spend the time writing this, then shouldn't I know how it's published?
Right.
Yeah, so I just have to, and this is the hardest thing to do, is to write. I channel the material. I transcribe it. I put it, in writing, and then I go over it and write it. But every time I go over it and I'm reading it in order to fix it and stuff, fix it grammatically and all that, I'm learning it as I'm writing it because this is all new to me.
Yeah.
These aren't like beliefs that I've changed or even things that I've considered about your psyche or your experience or your life or your emotions or whatever it is. I haven't done this, so it's like it's difficult as a writer to write about something that you don't know about.